Yeah, my name is David. I'm a senior at Penn studying cognitive science and computer science. During my freshman summer, I interned at a startup accelerator in Singapore. My sophomore summer, I interned at Uber Philippines, and my junior summer, I interned at Urban Airship in San Francisco. I applied to a couple of schools, including Penn, Berkeley, UCLA, Northwestern, Harvard, Stanford, Cornell. I was accepted to Penn, Berkeley, UCLA, and Northwestern, and then didn't get to Harvard and Stanford and Cornell. I think a big part of the college admissions process is really finding your niche and kind of like building a story behind everything that you've done so far. So personally, I played a lot of basketball back in grade school and high school, but I tore my anterior cruciate ligament the summer before my senior year. And so after tearing my anterior cruciate ligament, I joined the debate team. I started beforehand, like I had a personal blog, but after I tore my ACL, I started writing more, and I ended up becoming a contributor for like the Philippine Daily Inquirer. And so through both like debate, like Philippine Daily Inquirer, and I started doing a lot of work when it came to like volunteer work and just volunteering for different like nonprofits back in the Philippines as well. And I kind of like used all of those like different experiences after tearing my ACL to craft a story where I was interested in learning more about different cultures, and through debate, like learning more about different like world issues and meeting people from different cultures, and I guess like put that together to create like a story and a niche within debate, and also writing that probably like helped me like stand out. But I really do think it's about finding what makes you different, and really picking like one or two things where you could become really good at during high school, and diving into that and trying to like get like leadership positions and like doing things beyond what your high school offers, and really trying to stand out that way. I primarily like considered just the US for like studying abroad, and then I was choosing between Berkeley and Penn actually, and ended up going to Penn because of like reasons, including I think class size. A big part of it was just talking to like friends and like family, because I personally wanted to go to Berkeley just because I want to be in San Francisco. But yeah, after talking to like friends, family, and alumni, like there's a pretty strong alumni base for like Penn students, I ended up like deciding to go to Penn. I think it was a mix of Camp Philippines was really helpful. So I had a mentor from Camp Philippines. He went to Yale, and he had gone through like the whole process and gave really like good advice in terms of what to think about, like how to approach like senior year, like how to like stand out. And so like I think that definitely like was big source of help in terms of just knowing like what to think about, like what to write in my application. And that'd probably be the biggest thing. I spent a lot of time like online as well, just like looking through different blogs, different like websites, different forums to just like see like what are some of the small things that I needed to think about. But during that time, like Xavier didn't really have like an established like IB program yet. I think nowadays like it's more like a bit more established where like the counselors know more, but back then like it was pretty hard to like get like tangible like advice and help from like my school counselors. But I think like through camp, like that was like probably the biggest source of like advice and just insight into what to think about. Yeah, so at College Confidential, I was on that a lot. And then there's this like blog by like Cal Newport, like he talks about like how to get into Harvard by staring into the clouds. I think that's like super interesting article. Definitely like changed the way like I looked at applying to like schools abroad, especially for competitive schools. A big part of it is like really finding like your hook and what makes you different, and like doing things that will like really make you stand out. Yeah, in terms of the most important parts, I think the most important part is, I think obviously you started with like test scores and just like your grades in high school, and then from there I think your main activities and where you really spend a lot of your time. And then I think the last thing to like bring it all together is I think the essay. The way I think about it is like your test scores and your grades like get your foot in the door, and like your activities and stuff, but it's probably like your one main activity plus like your essay that really helps you like stand out from like all the other like really smart like students who've done like amazing things. So for the SATs, I went to like some review for like a few weeks, like and then from there like I self-studied using like the College Board book. There's a lot of just like, I think the best way to probably study for it is like take a lot of like practice exams. I think there's nothing that replicates like the SAT better than practice exams and being able to because there's like a certain like type of question that they ask like for SATs, and once you're familiar with all the possible types of questions, and you get that through like practicing from answering a lot of like practice tests, it shouldn't be like too hard. Right. So I started out by just like listing down like a bunch of like ideas that I could write about, and then drafting a few of them, and then from there I think it was really a process of thinking about what would complete my application, or like if I had to like write or add something to my application, what would it be, or like and I think that definitely like helped me like kind of like pick like what topic to choose, because it felt like if I didn't write about that topic, like my application wouldn't be complete, and so I ended up like choosing the topic and ended up drafting another version of that, and then just like doing a lot of like revising until it seemed like every word made sense. It had a reason to be in the essay. I got like I asked like my camp mentor to like look over it, and then my parents and family and friends looked over it. But aside from that, like and then after that submitted it. I think it varies for school. Like here at Penn, like freshman year, you're supposed to live in the dorm, and so everybody lives on campus, and then from there, like sophomore year onwards, it's up to you whether you want to live on campus or off campus. And so like my first like sophomore junior year I still lived on campus. Right now I'm living in a house with a bunch of different friends, and that process was a bit more tedious, where you have to like look for a lease and talk to like different landlords and try to find like vacant space and get people together, and which is probably like the process for most grad students, where at least for here at Penn, like most of them live in like Center City, and you have to like look for housing on your own. I think it depends like what you want to get out of studying the US, just because one, it's very expensive, and so sometimes like it may not be super worth it if you like don't get into a top tier university, but it really depends on like what you're studying, like what the university you got into is good at, the people you'll be surrounded with. I think at the end of the day, like what I've realized is a big part of like studying the US is more for like, rather than the actual like curriculum, while like there are probably like certain subjects and professors who are really amazing, I think like you could get a lot of that like online or through like local university as well, but I think it really boils down to like the people you're surrounded with, and I think like if you think the school or university you're going to attend is like amazing people or like smarter than you, I think that's probably the biggest value, at least personally from what I've experienced. Most of the things I've learned are from like my peers here at Penn. Hopefully gonna be working in my own like startup in the future. If not, like I think with computer science there are a couple of options, whether that's software engineering or product management. I've also like worked a bit in VC through Dorm Room Fund, which is a student-run VC firm, and so I'm considering if like the startup doesn't work out, I could potentially like do VC as well, which is venture capital. And in terms of like just like foreign companies hiring foreign workers, I think for software engineering specifically and like product management roles, like a lot of the companies like do like hire and sponsor foreign like students. I mean, I like to tell people that if I were to do it all over again, like I might have gone to Berkeley, just because I think like starting out, I've always wanted to like be in Silicon Valley, and I do think the proximity like actually like makes a huge difference, especially after being there during the summer. So I might have gone to Berkeley, like I could have started all over again, but in terms of major, I think like I picked like a pretty good major in cognitive science and computer science, just because it's very relevant to like the present and also the future when it comes to like artificial intelligence. Few things. I think first, like, don't be afraid to ask for help. I think a lot of like students who got into like a lot of these schools like are more than like happy and like willing to like help you out. So it's probably number one. Number two is like enjoy the process. I do think like a lot of students like really stress out over like applying abroad, but it's like really like about the process as well. Like just really thinking about like what you're good at, like what you want to do, and like why you like want to study like in the U.S. in the first place. So I think a big part of that is like just like a lot of like introspection throughout like the college admission process, and I think it's a good way to like learn more about yourself. I think the third thing is have friends like with you like throughout the process, like talk to people who are also like applying to like abroad or to like schools in the U.S. and I do think like some of my best memories when I was like going through the college admission process was just working with friends and like putting together applications, reviewing for the SATs, and just like celebrating like the highs and lows. And I do think that like I got a lot closer to a lot of my friends through that. If you have any more questions, do create like a profile like friends abroad.